Ward's college journey began at Incarnate Word, and it's there where he first showcased his immense talent. In 2020, even in a shortened season, he snagged the Jerry Rice Award, given to the top freshman in the FCS. His 2021 season was truly special. 4,648 passing yards, 47 touchdowns. He earned Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Then he made the leap to the FBS, transferring to Washington State. And in 2 seasons with the Cougars, Ward continued to impress. He threw for nearly 7,000 yards and 48 touchdowns. He demonstrated his ability to produce not only at the FCS level, but at the Power 5 conference as well. Most recently, Ward took his talents to South Beach at the University of Miami, where he continued to elevate his game. He quickly became a household name, showcasing his exceptional arm talent, improvisational skills, and playmaking ability. Throughout his college career, Ward has consistently shown the ability to make jaw-dropping throws, often under pressure. His arm strength is undeniable, and he possesses the accuracy to deliver the ball to all levels of the field. But it's not just his physical gifts that stand out. Ward displays a remarkable poise and maturity in the pocket. He's a smart quarterback, capable of reading defenses and making quick decisions. His ability to extend plays with his feet and create something out of nothing is a trait that NFL scouts drool over. To summarize, Cam Ward is here, and I can't wait to see what he does next. He is excellent, and his progression is through the roof. From his record-setting performances at Incarnate Word to his record-setting performances at the University of Miami, Ward has proven he has the talent, work ethic, and leadership qualities to succeed in the NFL. He's a quarterback with a bright future, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Cam Ward is who he is because he understands how to move and then be explosive at the same time. Right here in the pocket, we see him. Just watch how calm he is in this pocket. Calm feet, just waiting, going through his reads, and then boom, he gets out. Like there's no hesitation. Once he knows, okay, the time is over, it's time to go. Then he just uncorks. Like when you think about it, right? So he's getting his tackle's getting beat on the right side, hands to the face, but hands to the face for both of them. So he knows he has to escape. He sees the defender go under, so he escapes to his left. Now he's rolling to his left, just turns and wings the ball out there. That ball never leaves the actual frame of the pitcher. That's how you know how much like of a rope he got on the ball, because the ball never leaves the pitcher and it flies directly into the hands of a guy who is nowhere near the ball when he releases it. Think about it. That's where the ball is right now. Watch when the receiver comes into the pitcher. That means that receiver was probably somewhere by the goalpost when he released this. And yet, perfect strike, gets the ball down, gets his foot down in the end zone. Easy work from a guy like Cam Ward, who we know loves to show off that arm, loves to show off his ability to stay calm under pressure. And here's another example of it right here. Look at that throw. The Tennessee Titans have chosen Cam Ward. What does this mean for his fantasy relevance as a rookie? Well, unlike a lot of the other receivers, Cam Ward is not always a willing runner. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he can run, but he chooses, or at least he has chosen in college, to stay in the pocket. Now, one thing that people should look out for is he is a goal line merchant. When he gets into the red zone, he will run in touchdowns with his feet. That makes him a lot more fantasy viable. The problem for him is going to be his receiving core. Who is he really throwing to with the Titans that's going to make other people go, I need him on my fantasy squad? So unless they plan on bringing in something much better than Tyler Lockett, I'm not sure that Cam Ward in year one is going to be somebody that I believe can have real legitimate fantasy relevance. It'll remain to be seen what they do with the rest of that receiving core. I look for him to have a good season as a rookie. He's in a great offense for him. I just don't know if he's going to be relevant enough for him to be my first or second quarterback if I'm in a super flex league. From the moment he stepped onto a college football stage, Travis Hunter showcased the rare ability to excel on both sides of the ball. He began his college journey at Jackson State, where he shunned all of the Power 5 schools for an HBCU. He immediately proved to be a game changer. His impact as a freshman was undeniable, displaying exceptional skills both at receiver and cornerback. His versatility, playmaking ability quickly made him a national sensation. When he transferred to Colorado, Hunter's star continued to rise. He became a focal point for the Buffaloes, demonstrating his elite talent on a bigger stage. On offense, Hunter is a dynamic receiver with exceptional route running skills, reliable hands, and the ability to make the big plays. He has a knack for finding the end zone and consistently creates separation from defenders. On defense, Hunter possesses outstanding coverage skills, ball hawking instincts, and a physicality that allows him to excel against any receiver. He's a true shutdown corner with the ability to change the game with an interception or a crucial pass breakup. What truly sets Hunter apart is his unparalleled ability to contribute at an elite level on both sides of the ball. His stamina, skill, and sheer talent required to excel at both receiver and cornerback are almost unheard of in the modern era. Travis Hunter isn't just a football player. He's a phenomenon. His career is Shohei Ohtani-esque. And I can't wait to see what he does next, because he is a testament to what happens when you put elite talent with elite hard work and dedication. That's why he's the Heisman Trophy winner. This is one of the beautiful things that Travis Hunter brings to the table as a wide receiver, and that is his ball skills. He just understands how to flash those hands right at the perfect opportunity, right? Just be able to flash those hands, keep his eyes on the ball, bring them in. You'll see it right here. Watch him. Boom. You see him get the hands up, even though the defender has his arm draped all over him, even though he's falling away from the ball. He's able to get his hands, and even with him getting clotheslined to the ground, which I think is just awesome. His eyes never leave the football. And so he's able to bring that in. He has the wherewithal to get his feet in bounds and come in again. You see him off the top. He knows what's happening. He knows that this ball is coming to him. He knows that Sanders is going to give him a chance, right? Sanders trusts him. He gets jammed pretty well off the line. The defensive back is right in the place where he should be with less than 5 yards, right? Less than 5 yards. He definitely should be in a position to be able to extend those arms out, right? Make a catch here. But Travis Hunter is just better at it. He's able to bring that in. That's what makes him so special in this position. The Jaguars make a blockbuster trade with the Browns. They move up to number 2, and they take the only generational talent in this draft, Travis Hunter. I love this pick, not just because you're getting a generational talent, a once-in-a-lifetime talent, but because that once-in-a-lifetime talent fills 2 major roles for this team. They need a guy to go out there and lock people down on the defensive side. They need a number 2 receiver. Right? If you look at what they did last year and the receivers that they had outside of Brian Thomas, nobody else looked really impressive. Evan Ingram's gone, right? Are you really thinking about Parker Washington or some of those guys to be the guy that takes the next step? So not only does Travis Hunter have an opportunity to come in and be an effective defender for them as a cornerback, possibly even as a nickel if they wanted to ease him in, but he can go in there and demand anywhere between 80 to 100 targets as a rookie. That's going to be great for your fantasy value. A lot of people are worried that Travis Hunter is not going to get enough time on offense to be fantasy relevant. I'm here to tell you, If he gets 80 to 100 targets, he's going to be fantasy relevant. He's that good. He knows how to make people miss. He knows how to get open. And more importantly, he understands how to get in the end zone. Not to mention, they're not going to be wasting Travis Hunter using him during plays where he's not getting the ball. So anytime you see him on offense, you can be assured he's probably either the first or the second option for the quarterback to throw the ball to. That's great for fantasy managers who felt as if Travis Hunter might not have an opportunity to do well. If he had gone to the Browns, who was their quarterback? Now he's with the Jaguars. Well, we know they have a quarterback who should be good. He's being paid like a top 10 quarterback. Now he'll have no excuses with the weapons why he can't achieve that level. So not only do you give a bump to Travis Hunter, but you got to give a bump to Trevor Lawrence as well. He has another legitimate playmaker over there to play with. And Brian Thomas, coming into year 2, now has a running mate, so you can't focus all the attention on him. He should be able to duplicate what was a fantastic rookie year. Things are looking up for the offense in Jacksonville, and it's looking up for fantasy managers who have these gentlemen on their teams. From the moment he stepped onto the field for the Broncos, Jeanty showcased a rare blend of power, agility, and vision. In his freshman year, he gave us a glimpse of what was to come, demonstrating a natural ability to find the end zone. But it was in his sophomore and junior seasons where Jeanty truly exploded onto the national scene. He became the focal point of the Boise State offense, racking up yards and touchdowns at an astonishing rate. In 2024, Jeanty cemented his legacy as one of the most dominant running backs in college football. He led the FBS in rushing yards and touchdowns, a feat that's hard to overstate. His incredible season was highlighted by a dominant performance in which he consistently broke tackles, gained significant yardage, and what makes Jeanty so special is his combination of skills. He's got the power. He runs through your face, the agility to make them miss, the vision to find open lanes, and he's also a reliable pass catcher, making him a true threat in all facets of the game. Jeanty's on-field accomplishments have earned him numerous accolades, unanimous All-American, and he's taken home prestigious awards like the Maxwell Award and the Doak Walker Award. These honors are a testament to how hard work, dedication, and exceptional talent, to sum it up, right? Ashton Jeanty could have left and took the dollars, stayed at Boise State, and still balled out. He's been nothing short of legendary while he's been there. He's a generational type of back who's left an indelible mark on a program and on college football as a whole. As he goes to the NFL, he carries with him the hopes and expectations of all of those guys who don't go to the Power 5 to ball out. What makes Ashton Jeanty so special, gotta start with the contact balance. I mean, watch the way he gets through this play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he comes out on the other side and breaks it long for a gain. Again, you can see him, right? Right there is the first contact. There's 2 and 3 and 4 before he ever gets touched again. Like, look at how low his center of gravity is when he's going through this gauntlet right here. You see how low his hips are to the ground? It makes it extremely difficult for the defender to try to get onto the parts of his legs that are easy to bring down. So he flies off. Then another guy tries to get low, but Jeanty's lower, and he's already looking to make the other guys miss, who are assuming that the first guy was going to bring him down. So now when he pops out again, those are the types of things that you look at and go, well, this is why he has so much success, is because this level of balance, right, mixed with a low pad level, and then just a desire to be great, helps him to continue to make all of these people look foolish in this situation. Let's check it out again right here. Look, boom. One guy off him. The second guy, you see him drop his shoulders And the moment he gets hit, he's already spinning, looking for the next contact. That allows him to be great. You see his head up right there, and then it's off to the races. One more time, we'll check it out. Boom. Down and up, and that's all it takes. That's why he's a special talent in this draft. Much to the chagrin of our producer Swing, the Raiders have selected Ashton Jeanty, the running back from Boise State. And I'm here to tell you, fantasy relevance through the roof with the Raiders, not just because he can go to a team and be part of the focus, but because he doesn't have to be the focus. He's going to go to a team that has a legitimate receiver, a legitimate tight end, a legitimate quarterback who knows how to throw the ball, and now he doesn't have to be the focal point. He's not going to see 8, 9-man boxes anymore. He's going to see regular defense. Why? Because they have to account for a passing game that's going to be improved now that Geno Smith is the quarterback over here. With all due respect to the Bears, this is the best landing spot for Ashton Jeanty from a fantasy perspective. He's going to be able to go in there, demand the carries that a running back one demands, but also not have to worry about getting all of the attention on him like he would in some other places. I think this has the opportunity for fantasy managers who were thinking about him as possibly a late round 1, early round 2 pick. Watch that pick up even more now that he's gone to the team that most people thought he was the best fit for anyway. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders, it only makes sense, and it's only going to get better for that squad out there in Las Vegas. Tet McMillan announced himself immediately as a player to watch in college football. In his freshman year, he led all true freshmen in the nation in receiving yards and touchdowns. A sign of incredible things to come. McMillan's career with the Wildcats has been marked by a series of outstanding performances. His sophomore season saw him become one of the nation's leading receivers, showcasing his exceptional ability to make big plays. He consistently demonstrated his prowess for hauling in tough catches, his remarkable size and strength, making him a nightmare matchup for opposing defensive backs. In his time at Arizona, McMillan established himself as a dominant force. His combination of size, athleticism, and skill is a true rare possession. Now, he has the ability to be exceptional at winning contested catches. He has a knack for finding the end zone, and he knows how to work in and out the margins. He has more speed than you think. More speed than you think. McMillan's impact on the Arizona program is undeniable. He became the Wildcats' all-time leader in receiving yards, a testament to his consistent excellence and game-changing ability. He leaves Arizona as one of the most decorated and accomplished receivers in school history. McMillan's college career is a story of dominance, record-breaking performances, and consistent excellence. He's proven himself to be a premier receiver with all the tools to succeed at the highest level. His remarkable talent and dedication make him truly special, and he's sure to leave a legacy in the NFL. Tet McMillan is a receiver that a lot of people keep comparing to Mike Evans. And the one thing I will say about him, the way that I believe he should be used is right here. He's a guy who understands how to catch the ball with his hands with contested catches. Like, look at this defensive back. This is not bad coverage right here. He reaches out and snatches the ball away. That's what the frame is for. That's why you're that big. But he not only catches the ball, right? It's not that he reaches out to catch the ball. He's immediately looking to make the move away from this receiver. Boom, there's 2, now 3 broken tackles right there. And again, you love to see it. Broken tackle 1, broken tackle 2, broken tackle 3, stiff arm for the 4th defensive back. This type of physical nature is where Tet McMillan can really set himself apart. Is he faster than what people give him credit for, myself included? Absolutely. Is he a burner? No, he's not the Mike Evans burner that Mike Evans was when he came out of Texas A&M. But he's plenty fast. However, this is what's going to separate him. Just watch the way he turns. He doesn't even see this hit coming, right? But when he does, he drops the shoulder low enough, gets his hips low enough to be able to absorb the hit. He comes out and his eyes immediately looks downfield, gives that stiff arm to that last defender trying to get him down, and picks up another 6 yards because he's able to get his arms out again, creating distance to be able to stay away from the defender, right? He creates that distance to keep the defender away, picks up another 6 yards on the end of that play. Those are the type of things that make you special at the next level. The Carolina Panthers selecting Tet McMillan is really interesting for fantasy. Right now, the Panthers had Xavier Legette, who they took last year in the draft. They also have Jalen Coker, who they took last year as an undrafted free agent. That's two big body physical receivers that play a very similar brand of football. They also have had Adam Thielen, who works in that same type of mode. So adding a Tet McMillan, a big body physical receiver, means they must be trying to zig when everybody else is zagging. And quite frankly, I love it. Add these bigger, stronger matchup nightmares for defensive backs and see how they are able to line up and control all of these 6'2", 6'3", 6'5", 220-pound receivers that are all over the place. For McMillan, it's a great opportunity to fall into a level of targets that can make him probably a borderline wide receiver 3 in year one, depending upon how he's utilized. Now, if they think that Tet McMillan is really their new number 1 wide receiver, he might get elevated to a wide receiver 2 status in fantasy, because if you look around, Xavier Legette, his catch success rate, not good enough. What do we know that Tet McMillan does really, really well? He catches the ball. So that would allow Legette to play a secondary role to McMillan, and a guy like Thielen, if he's the odd man out, that could be the place where Jalen Coker comes in as the Carolina Panthers wide receiver 3. They're still big, they're still athletic, but that means that Tet McMillan could be in line for over 100 targets as a rookie. And we saw in 2024, when you're giving these rookies over 100 targets, they can really make something shake. I don't think he can get to a wide receiver 1 status because there's just too many really good wide receivers in this league. But he could flirt with wide receiver 2 status if he's played properly in this offense. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, especially with the elevation of the quarterback play there and what they've been able to do, how much they've been able to lean on the running game. This is a great landing spot for McMillan because they already know how to use a talent like his. Loveland has been a force to be reckoned with. He's been consistent, and he has elevated the Wolverines' offense, which is saying a lot because the quarterback play hasn't been what you would expect. As a true freshman, Loveland immediately showcased his immense potential that he had scouts buzzing. In 2022, he appeared in all 14 games, demonstrating that maturity and ready for the big time with his skill set well beyond his years. He's quickly become a more reliable target. He had 16 receptions for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a crucial touchdown catch against Penn State that was highlighting his ability to not only grab the ball and snag it away, but perform under pressure. And it hinted at the fact that he would be a star in the making. In 2023, he exploded. He had 45 catches, 649 yards in an offense that, again, was not predicated on passing the ball, an extremely good running game. He has the versatility to play out wide. He can play in the slot. He has the ability to run after the catch. But more importantly, is his ability to track the ball in the air, go up and get it. That's why he was able to get into the end zone. What feels like a modest 4 times, but when you think about the Michigan offense, it makes all the sense in the world. That's why he was named first team All Big Ten. In his last season, he was able to impact the stat sheet all over the place, regardless of the fact that they had one of the worst passing attacks in all the land. The thing that you have to love about Loveland is that he hasn't even sniffed his full potential. He can still grow into his body. He still has the opportunity to get better as a pass receiver through his route running and through his ability to adjust on the fly. All of the things that he's going to be able to do in the NFL. One thing I'm looking forward to seeing is how he fills out his body and becomes a more complete football player physically while he's on the inline blocking, as well as what he does as a receiver. Sometimes the simplest plays say everything you need to know. Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan, nothing flashy all the time, right? But watch the way he works to get this pass. You see him up at the high point. He's able to control his body. Watch again. Matter of fact, if we come back here, we can see him working on that slot fade, the escape from the quarterback. Now he throws it up, high points the ball, right? And we can come back here and see it again. Right there, he high points the football over an outstretched defender, then turns away because he knows there are other defenders coming so that he can put the ball away, takes a shot in the back, and is able to hold on to the football. Again, you've got to love that, especially when you think about him coming from the slot fading. Quarterback needs somebody to bail him out. Boom. There he goes. Up high for the ball, pulls it away, shields the ball away, and is able to hold on to the ball even after a big hit to the lower back. And I can tell you, as someone who's played tight end, that is not enjoyable. When they hit you in the lower back like that, there is nothing fun about getting hit in that area. Loveland knew he would take a hit and yet still managed to hold on to the ball and be sure that he can bring it in. This is a guy who may not do the wild things like Warren, where he carries the ball as a running back. He may not have the overall production like a Fannin. He still has to fill out his body, but he's going to be someone who comes up with these clutch passes on third down, be a monster in the red zone and goal line, someone that I'm really looking forward to seeing in the NFL. As far as the fantasy relevance for Loveland, that's the interesting part, because they already have a tight end over there in Cole Kmet, who's pretty darn good. This probably means that Cole Kmet is on his way out. If we look at what happened with the Lions and what they did with their tight end situation when they brought in another rookie, it might be time for Cole Kmet to find another place. That being said, this is a great opportunity for Loveland because we know that Ben Johnson understands how to use a tight end in his offense, even when he has premier receivers outside. Loveland can become a really good security blanket for Caleb Williams. He's not going to have any pressure on him because they have weapons all over the place at wide receiver that are going to draw the focus of the defense. Not to mention that the defense still has to pay extra attention to Caleb Williams, who can burn them as a runner if they decide to turn their backs on him. That's going to allow Loveland to work in the gaps, find spaces to sit down, get peppered with targets on the intermediate and short routes, and be a real legitimate threat to be a top 10, possibly even top 6 tight end in this season fantasy. If you have Colston Loveland because you got him early on a dynasty, you've got to feel good about this spot for him. And if you're drafting soon, you definitely want to elevate Colston Loveland up your list, because the place that he's going has proven that they know how to get the ball into the tight end's hands. You're going to want to take advantage of that.
Hey, you know you're not actually allowed to drink in a beer commercial?
Since when?
You gotta wait till it's done. Oh.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's take a closer look at the impressive college career of Penn State tight end Tyler Warren. He developed into a key player for the Nittany Lions over his time in Happy Valley. He proved to be a versatile and reliable weapon in Penn State's offense. Over his career, Warren showcased his skill as a dual threat tight end, contributing both as a receiver and as a blocker. He became a significant receiving target, demonstrating reliable hands and an ability to make crucial catches. His contributions in the passing game steadily increased, culminating in a high-productive 2024 season where he was the primary target for the Nittany Lions. His size, his strength, his force makes him a red zone monster where he could be a receiving weapon, a running weapon, or a guy who can throw the touchdown as well. His ability to win contested catches and find the end zone was a major asset for Penn State in their bids for a national title run in 2024. He also contributes as a blocker, which is why the running game was so good and what makes him such a desirable tight end in the NFL. His dedication and hard work made him an integral part of that Penn State offense. It's going to make him an integral part of this Colts offense. He leaves Penn State having solidified himself as one of the top tight end prospects in the nation. He's the only prospect in this draft, in my opinion, who is a high-level blocker and a high-level receiver at the position. That's why he's going to be great, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my favorite people to watch go through and do their thing. Tyler Warren, the tight end. Yes, do not adjust your computers. Like, this is Tyler Warren, the tight end, playing quarterback. And you can see this is a 50-plus yard house call from Tyler Warren. Like, he has this ability to be able to make people like have to respect him and his ability to run the football, right? His ability to run the football is really what sets him apart. Yeah, he can line up at quarterback because he comes from quarterback stock. He's still learning the play. He's big, he's physical, he's got a nasty streak about him, right? And to have that nasty streak about you, but still also be able to, do the things necessary in order to be a great tight end. This is something that can't be undersold when you're talking about Tyler Warren. He's a guy who, in the right offense where they're trying to utilize a true tight end, one who can block, one who can catch, and one who has an ability to run, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tyler Warren get some end rounds in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised, depending upon where he goes, if they line him up in short yardage and use him as a short yardage quarterback, maybe even to do some tush pushing. I wouldn't be surprised to see them throw screens to Tyler Warren. I wouldn't be surprised if they use him with double passes. There's just a lot of ways that this young man can be used at his position outside of just being a blocker and a normal receiver. This could not be a better fit for a tight end and a team than what Warren brings to the table for the Colts. Yes, they have a young quarterback who is still learning the position. They brought in a veteran quarterback whose best days were when he had an elite level receiving tight end. So now you give both of those guys a blanket, a security blanket to be able to throw the ball to. We know that AR-15 can bombs away, but now he's going to learn to be able to check it down or hit that tight end across the middle. And the best part about Warren is that because he's a great blocker as a runner, play action becomes big. look for Warren to have a really big season. Definitely a top 10 tight end receiving season in fantasy. It's interesting because, like one of his classmates, Colston Loveland, this feels like the potential to be a top 5 tight end on the board as a rookie, as long as everything works out. We know that the new standard, if you will, is what they're doing over in Las Vegas. Can Indianapolis kind of take a little of that duplication and turn Tyler Warren into the next weapon that can be utilized to help his quarterback reach his full potential? I think this means a bump up for AR-15. This is a bump up for Warren, and it's a bump up for the running game because they've added a legitimate blocker, and we already know how good that running game is. As we take a look at the career of Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, we understand a standout when we see him. And although Jeremiah Smith came out of nowhere and was this force, Egbuka was the glue that held this offense together. Whenever they needed a crucial first down, whenever they needed a big play, it was Egbuka that ignited the team. Whenever things weren't going right, it was Egbuka that got everybody back on track. That veteran leadership, that understanding and pride of what it is to be an Ohio State wide receiver is what made him so good. And his technical proficiency allows him to be able to come into the NFL and be an effective wide receiver immediately. As long as he has the opportunity to perform, his blend of talent, work ethic, and determination are going to take him really far in the NFL. He established himself as one of the most dynamic wide receivers in all of the country, mainly because his route running ability, his ability to get in and out of breaks, his ability to make people dance with him on the field is one of the reasons why he's one of the, what I would call the intermediate level merchants. He's able to clean up in that area because a lot of linebackers, safeties, and defensive backs have a hard time sticking with him at that position. He's been a consistent producer throughout his time with the team, even while playing with other high-level receivers. And that's what makes him intriguing as an NFL prospect, because he understands what it's like to play with other really good wide receivers. He won't be shell-shocked. He won't be put back by being around other talent. He will rise to the occasion and become one of those sneaky good receivers who have a long career in the NFL. Egbuka is one of those special wide receivers that you could see making a lot of money in the league working on the intermediate. But don't get it twisted. Egbuka is an explosive receiver. We see right here when they use him on the interior screen pass. Like, watch how he doesn't immediately go full speed through here. But once he sees the lane, boom, right there. You saw just a slight shift in his speed. He allowed his blocks to set up. That slight shift in the speed allows him to take off again. If we look at it right here, he turns, he sees his blocks, he's letting his blockers set up, boom. He sees the lane, and he just takes off and explodes through the lane. Now, will he be able to just blow by all of the competition in the NFL like this? No, obviously not. But he's so good at setting things up in the intermediate that when he gets passes like this, these short, quick screens where linemen get out in front of him, or even if it's receivers or tight ends or running backs that are out in front of him, he's going to be able to know when it's time to hit the nitrous and when it's time to allow those guys to set the blocks up for him. I think that's one of the things that's really special about what Egbuka does for his team. If I'm being honest, I don't see a fantasy relevance for Emeka Egbuka in his rookie season with the Buccaneers. There's just too many receivers and running backs to try to go through. You've got Mike Evans. He's still Mike Evans. You've got a McMillan who really came on last year when Chris Godwin was injured. And you've got Chris Godwin. He'll be back. He'll be ready to go again, even if he starts the year on the PUP list. He's going to come back. And when he comes back, that means that a guy like Egbuka is not going to be around. Now, do I think he's a great fantasy stash and hold on to? Or maybe even a stash and hold on to him for the late season, just in case somebody gets hurt? Absolutely. But if you're looking for somebody to be fantasy relevant day one, managers might want to look somewhere else besides Egbuka. Again, I think he has the talent. I just don't know if he's going to have the opportunity necessary to be successful in fantasy year one. Omarion Hampton quickly made a name for himself with the Tar Heels. Known for his powerful running style, Hampton became a focal point of North Carolina's offense, especially after Drake May's exit. Hampton's combination of size, strength, and surprising agility allows him to excel as a ball carrier. He constantly demonstrated that ability to break tackles, gain tough yards, and make explosive plays. Throughout his career, Hampton showcased his development as a complete running back. He's not only excelled as a runner, but also contributed to the passing game as a receiver. Although he's not a wide receiver, he does have reliable hands, and he has the ability to pick up blitzes. Hampton is a nightmare for defensive backs. They're out there making business decisions, and while they're making business decisions, he's breaking off big plays. His time at North Carolina is marked by his outstanding production and his impact on the team's running game. He established himself as one of the premier running backs in the ACC. His skills and contributions make him a highly regarded prospect. And if it wasn't for Ashton Jeanty, he would be the class of a really talented running back class. One of my favorite runs by Omarion Hampton is this one right here. It just reminds me of an old Mike Allstott clip, right? You can almost hear a Chris Berman in the background when he's running, just the same way that he used to do in the wet watch. Poof, 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 rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and he just keeps his balance. I can hear the NFL films. Dun, 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 dun. Omarion Hampton, right? And why is he so great? Why is this even a thing? Well, look at his eyes. He saw the vision, right? Check the vision out. He peeps out the defender on his right, the defense's left. He sees it coming, but instead of like bracing down and stopping his feet, he hits and runs his feet through the contact. That allows him to get away. Then he sees the other guy in front of him and uses his arm to push the guy off, stiff arm off, and spin away. Now he can see that guy coming, but he's still, the entire time, his legs are just churning, and he has such great balance, right? And that's an underrated aspect of being a back, is the balance to be able to take these hits, stay on his feet, and continue to move forward, right? His center of gravity is low. Obviously, he has powerful legs, because you wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't have powerful legs. But being able to keep them churning and keep moving is why Omarion Hampton is one of the best backs in the 2025 class. I would love to tell you that the fantasy relevance for Omarion Hampton is really, really high, but I have no clue. I don't understand why the Chargers would take Hampton when they just went out and signed it back, who's essentially the exact same type of back as Omarion Hampton. It makes me question what the backfield is going to look like in Charger land. And if I have to question whether or not you're going to get consistent carries, whether or not you're going to get goal line touches, because that's big for a back, then I don't know exactly what your fantasy relevance is. I will tell you this. Omarion Hampton is the future over there at the Chargers. He's who they look to and say, hey, this is going to be our bell cow back going forward. I just don't know if it's going to happen this season, when you think about the assets they already have at the position. Is Najee Harris like a forgotten man? Is Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris going to split time? And if they do split time, is it going to be a situation where Hampton beats out as we go on with the season, or is he going to get beat out? If that's the case, how can you take a chance on him? The best thing you can do is draft him late, stash him on the bench if you can, and if something happens down the way where maybe Najee Harris isn't as effective as they thought he would be, or if he just takes the job, now you've got something. But you can't go into 2025 relying on Omarion Hampton. Not in this situation. Let's shine a spotlight on a dynamic playmaker who has consistently electrified college football fields. Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden quickly established himself as a standout talent. Known for his speed, agility, and big playability, Golden became a key weapon in the Texas passing game. Golden's career is marked by versatility and explosiveness. He's a receiver who can stretch the field, make defenders miss, and turn short passes into long touchdowns. His knack for finding the end zone is a testament to his natural talent and instincts. During his time in college, Golden showcased that he's a reliable target. His ability to win in various receiving situations and his knack for making clutch catches has made him one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the game. But it wasn't until the combine that we found out that he was blazing fast. While many of the other wide receivers at Texas taught the good game, he came out and showed it and dropped a sub 4.3 40 time. That elevated him and made people go back to the film to say, hey, what are we missing? Well, here's what they were missing: consistent quarterback play. And so even though Golden doesn't have many of the gaudy numbers that you see out of some of the college football greats, he's still been a really productive wide receiver in what has been a more run-laden and quarterback-unfriendly offense right now. I look forward to seeing what happens when he gets into an offense that really allows him to fully unleash all of his skills at one time. He's been comped to Chris Olave, and I think that's a great comp for him and what he'll be able to do at the next level. Matthew Golden has a real chance of being a success in the NFL because speed kills, and when you know how to utilize that speed properly as a quarterback, it can be extremely dangerous. We see right here, Golden's lined up, they stack, and they send Golden deep. Now, you see when the quarterback throws this ball, right? Golden's already beyond the cornerback. He has to actually stop, jump in the air, and come back to make this pass. In the NFL, this will not be the case. In the NFL, they will let this ball go much sooner than he does. Like right here is when the ball will be released. Instead, you can see the quarterback is still holding the ball, waiting for him to get open more before he throws it. That means you have to have one heck of an arm, right? We're talking about throwing it from the 5 all the way down to what, the 40-yard line. So you're talking about making a 55-yard throw in the air without really putting much into it. Golden has the speed to where that's Josh Allen throws, right? Those are Jameis Winston type of throws. Those are Bazooka Joe Milton throws, AR-15 throws. Your average quarterback's not trying to throw the ball 65, 70 yards in the air. And so that ball needs to be thrown earlier. And because Golden is able to beat his man so fast, that's the opportunity for him to have success. Now, kudos to him for still being able to go up and get this contested pass. You see him go and grab it, even with the defensive back draped on him like that. That shows you just how good he is as a receiver, but he should never have to do that. And in the NFL, he never will. The Green Bay Packers did the unthinkable. They took a wide receiver in the first round. It's amazing. I can't even remember the last time that the Packers took a wide receiver in the first round. The interesting thing is that they took Matthew Golden in the first round, who I believe is a really, really awesome talent, but feels more like a wide receiver 2 in the NFL than a wide receiver 1. Even with the comps that I've heard of him to Chris Olave, I feel as if he works better as a complement to another wide receiver who's probably a more dominant X type of wide receiver. So the question becomes, how are the Packers planning to use Golden, and whose stuff is he taking? Well, we know they're going to be without Watson because Watson's had injury, so he could slide into there, and Watson has had some of the dropsies. So if Golden can come in, take over that Watson role, and be more consistent with catching the ball, he could become a quasi wide receiver 1 on that team. What does that mean for him fantasy? It probably means he's going to give you wide receiver 2 production, if that's the case. You gotta love that if you're somebody that wants to take him, especially in Dynasty, where he gets an opportunity to grow in that system. But there will be some growing pains. He will have to adjust to a cold climate. He will have to adjust to playing on that level and being the focal point of a passing offense, which he hasn't had to do until this time. I like the pick. I don't love the pick for fantasy, but it has a lot of upside. If I was in a draft, I'd be looking to take him somewhere, in that 8th to 9th round. If I can find him there, just hanging out, maybe even 10th, if he's falling back, he could be a steal. Somebody that you may not think can have fantasy relevance immediately, who turns into someone who helps you when you win your league. Jaxson Dart's college journey showcases his evolution into a dynamic and exciting quarterback. He began his career at USC, where he provided a glimpse of his potential before transferring to Ole Miss. At Ole Miss, Dart truly blossomed. He became a key figure in Lane Kiffin's scheme, demonstrating his strong arm, impressive athleticism, and willingness to make plays. Dart's ability to throw with accuracy and power, both from the pocket, and we saw him do it on the run, that sets him apart. He consistently made challenging throws when needed and displayed poise necessary to lead an SEC offense. His time with the Rebels was marked by significant growth. Not only did he put up impressive passing numbers, but he also contributed as a runner. He showcased his versatility and he showed his toughness. He's established himself as a legitimate dual threat guy. Jaxson Dart's collegiate accomplishments highlight his talent, his resilience, and what happens when you give a guy a chance to develop. As a college player, he's going to go down as one of the best to ever come through Ole Miss. As an NFL player, he has a chance to be a really quality quarterback. A lot of people underrate Jaxson Dart because you don't see him do what I'm about to show you right here a lot. And that is a lot of throwing on the move laterally. But here we see he can get it done. And I can tell you as a coach, if we can see you do it once, then we know you can do it. Pressure coming, he escapes to his left. Watch him open up and just uncork the ball. Like that type of skill, like watch it again, because off the play action, so he's got to get himself going, right? He goes and looks to escape from the play action, but he's got immediate pressure coming from his right side, the defense's left. Immediate pressure. So he's got to escape to his left side. And why that's important is because obviously if you're escaping to your left side, that means you're not ready to just unleash the ball. Look at the athleticism to be able to create separation from the defenders, right? So he comes in, boom, he's out, separation to create. He gets blasted right when he lets the ball go. Blasted. So there is no stepping in and following through fully. He gets blasted when he lets the ball go, and the ball drops right where it's supposed to. Like, just look at where this ball ends up hitting him in the hands, right as he's getting to the line. Any sooner, and he may have been able to turn up and go upfield. But a half a millisecond later, and that guy would have been out of bounds. It is the perfect throw, and again, shows the ability for Dart to throw the ball on the move laterally. A lot of his highlights, a lot of his stuff when you watch him on film is him in the play action and then throwing the ball on RPOs, throwing the ball on rhythm, right? Throwing the ball on timing. He's got one of the better play callers in the country, but when you see him have to throw it off rhythm, right, and make something happen, that's the type of ability that he has. That's why a lot of people really like Jaxson Dart as a prospect. If we're talking about fantasy relevance for Jaxson Dart, that's where it gets really tricky. 2025, count it out. They've got Russell Wilson. They've got Jameis Winston. Jaxson Dart's going to sit the bench. That's why the Giants moved up to get him, so that they would have that extra year to be able to allow him to sit and learn behind two veterans. You can't rely on him in fantasy. Now, maybe if the season goes completely left and the Giants are out of it, they might say, hey, let's see what we have in a guy like Jaxson Dart early. If that's the case, go to the waiver wire and pick him up, because that's where he'll be more fantasy relevant. I don't think there's any path to Jaxson Dart starting for the Giants, and therefore not much fantasy relevance there. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.